yeah, she's running.
Well, hey everybody. For some of you earlier channel subscribers, you guys will recognize this as Stomper, our 84 Toyota Tercel with the really loud exhaust. I got it legal the other day on my way home from work, and we're gonna start driving it. So yeah, I'm taking it into town right now for its first real drive since it's been under my ownership to get gas and get lunch. So let's see what we can get ourselves into. Well, first things off, I had it left in four-wheel drive. It was starting to howl a little bit at 40 miles an hour, but other than that, it's driving pretty good. We've only gone about a mile, and we don't have very much gas left, so hopefully the half a gallon I put in last night will get us to a gas station. Honestly, I miss driving this car. It's a little rough around the edges, like everything I own, but you know what? It's got a lot of space in it and a lot of history with us. Well, thankfully, after a little bit of work and digging for parts, I got the roof basket on Stomper today. We made it successfully home from the gas station, or to the gas station and back. About 10 miles, car did fine. I don't know if it's my heavy boots I'm wearing right now, but it seems like first gear is a little sluggish. I don't know if I just got to adjust the clutch cable or not, since it's a clutch, or the clutch is driven with a cable on this car as compared to most hydraulic clutches, but I'll dig into that later. But I got the roof basket on. I did add these crossbars. This time when I put them on, I made sure to seal the holes I drilled in the roof. I'm going to put a different style roof basket rail system on later, but just for now it's going to get me by to make sure I can put some stuff on the roof, like an extra gas can, so I'm not dying of gas fumes inside the car in case I run out. So that is on, mounted. It's got rubber gaskets on the bolts that are in there, along with some automotive body seam sealer underneath the brackets as well, to make sure no water comes in. I do got to run to the store, grab some bulbs for the blinkers, passenger side blinker, which back when I owned this car before my YouTube channel, I located the blinkers from down in the bumper to up in the corners. Steer my finger this way, that way, right there. So those are the blinkers now, where they should have been in the first place, but you know, that's just me. So there are LEDs in there right now, at least on the driver's side and passenger side. Passenger side might just be knocked out, I don't know, but I'm going to switch them over to 194 halogens so the blinker doesn't blink really fast anymore. And excited. I do want to try to get the brush guard on this weekend before I take it to work on Monday, since I keep hitting raccoons. Unfortunately, cue this picture here. We got another raccoon. That was number 3 in 2 weeks with the Meep. So I figured I'm going to put some front end protection on this car since it's a little bit less metally than the Meep. And parts are kind of hard to find for this car. Let's go grab that brush guard. I think you guys will be impressed by this thing. All right, so there's the brush guard. It's kind of tipping back right now on the car since I don't have any brackets to bolt it to the car, but we're going to try to figure out how to do that. This is actually a brush guard off a John Deere Gator. I found it on Facebook Marketplace for super cheap. It pretty much is the correct size for the car, and it came with some lights in it. So I think I'm going to wire those into the high beams or the low beams or something. I'm going to wire those in so I can have control of those as well. So we'll get those on the car, or this setup mounted on the car, hopefully this weekend, and in this video if it's in there, and do some more stuff, because we also got to put tires and wheels on this. But I think I'm going to take the snow tires and wheels off of the Meep and put them on here, but for now we'll just run with the wheels that Luke put on it. Well, as much as I want to mount this brush guard to the car today, I don't think it's going to happen. The actual structure of the bumper underneath this plastic is pretty rusted, to say the least. The back bumper's not much better, but we do have a Jeep Wrangler rear bumper to put on here with a hitch. I'm going to take it to my coworker's house. We're going to have to cut the brackets on the Jeep bumper and narrow them down to fit the Toyota. So that being said, I'm going to jump on Marketplace and see if I can find a Wrangler front bumper, hopefully with a winch mount that I can just use, and then I can put this brush guard on it. That would probably be the best bet. Less screwing around with things, and probably mounted a lot safer, and it won't fall off because it's pretty crispy under there. Well, I was digging around here at the house and I found this bumper here that's in front of the car. It's the correct width, but it doesn't have a winch mount, and I really want to put one of those on the car just in case I want to do something else with it. But this bumper honestly would work, but it's just not the style I'm going for on the Tercel. It's off a YJ Jeep, I believe, and it's nicely bedlinered and everything, but just not exactly what I need. So I guess what I'll do is put that up on Facebook Marketplace and maybe trade it for a different one. Well, on another successful drive, I went over to Bearded Wrencher's house, and we...
No, not where my Bearded Wrencher at. Ignore me.
Ignore him.
Poser.
But yeah, we stopped by his house, and we grabbed a new lock cylinder, timing cover, because we needed that. We got some wiring for the blinker that's missing. We got the keys for the doors that I picked up from you the other day, and the lock mechanism for the gas cap. Talked about coming back over here to fix the HVAC system.
Yep.
And
which I have that off right now off the parts car. You should just pause it. Box is right here. And we're like, here's the parts car that's donating a lot of its parts to me. I should record it right now. I think we can do it over here. Camry. 400.
So yeah, we got this parts car that is donating its parts. We got the doors off of it, the lock cylinder, the HVAC thing from Luke. Yeah, so it's like a Jeep Tercel now.
I saved this car courtesy of Alex, actually. He let me borrow his trailer on a very, very short notice. I got a phone call from Jimbo. It's not his real name, but that's what he goes by. He came across like an estate auction, basically, that had these cars sitting in the yard. There was 2 cars. And they were gonna go to the scrap yard. A scrapper guy offered him $200 per car, and said if I beat it, they're mine. So I gave him $250. I guess I gave him $400 total. So basically, what his asking price was. I hauled this one home, and then I stayed for 5 hours and pulled as many parts off of the other car I could before driving the 9 hours back home. So without us, this car would have sadly got crushed. But now parts get to live out in Stomper. So here you go.
Thanks, bud.
You can refoam it, make it work good. Yeah, so our car is these 2 flaps right here aren't really moving. Mm-hmm. And then there's this flap right over here with this cable, and that is what locks the heater core in and open and closed. So yours was stuck like this, so none of these flaps would open, which is why I was making no heat. I kind of forced this lower one open, which generates some heat, but you can see up in this one right there, it's not open. So max heat is this all the way up there.
Oh, okay.
So we'll check your cables and make sure your cables are all good. I have a full cable system for this. This is a nice blower motor resistor, so it'll work on all settings. And I think between these two, getting all this stuff working in your car will make it have amazing heat. Because it had heat, just not as good as it could be. So here you go.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Well, the good news is we made it home. The first drive was successful. Got the Bearded Wrencher's house and noticed we have a leak from this lower radiator hose. I know Puddin's Fab Shop really hates these flexible hoses. Always makes a joke that Mordsky always gets stuck with them, but hey, it's worked for the past, 3 years. I'm the one that put it on because it was the only one I could get. So I had to get another flexible one, but that's why everybody hates them, because they always leak from the ribs. I'll let the engine cool down, and we'll get that changed out. I did notice a hard starting issue. When it is warm, it's vapor locking. It did that before when I originally owned the car. We do have a leak at the bottom of the base of the carburetor adapter and the intake here, so I'm gonna take care of that and probably get some heat shrink on these fuel lines because they are pretty warm just from being in the engine compartment. I do need to heat wrap the line that comes to here to there into the fuel pressure regulator, which is here, and then loops around the carburetor up on the top of the intake. That's how Toyota did it, and that's how we did it, even though it does have a Weber swap on it. Additionally, I do need to take this line and put a T-fitting on it. Luke did it with his car, Spud, and you put a T-fitting on, somewhere on this side. And then the T-fitting, you fill the one end with JB Weld, and then you drill something like a 1/16 or 1/32 hole or something in it, and it acts as a return line, which would go back to the tank through here, which I should do just to help with some fuel mileage. We do have a timing belt cover now from Luke, thankfully. Temps on the car are staying down, which is good. Everything runs fine. Oh yeah, and you probably did notice, why is the brake fluid reservoir cap off? Well, the brake light came on and it is pretty low. It's under the minimum line. I'm gonna have to look and see. I didn't see any leaks anywhere on the car, which is a good sign. Also, the battery is kind of getting weak, probably just for me letting the car sit. So I'll probably have to pick a new one up eventually before winter time. Power steering is still full, which is good. This is a power steering car. Surprisingly, the power steering rack doesn't make any noises. Why is that stuck in there? We should probably pull that. Oh, that's not good. I should probably fix that. That's a lot of exposed wire. So yeah, let's get that fixed here soon, like now. Got the gas door fixed thanks to Luke, and I did have to buy some bits and pieces for the license plate because that just flops around in there. Other parts score at Luke's house was the muffler. We are going to put a muffler on here, even though it does have a side pipe exhaust there. It's a little noisy. So I did that back when I owned the car in the first place, not really knowing much about things. I thought it was kind of cool, so I did it. And now that I'm a couple of years older, I think it's stupid. So gonna cut it up under here somewhere and then run it back out the back like it did from the factory. Even though we found problems, I still call it a successful test drive because we did make it home. We did about 50 miles today, which is pretty decent. That's about my daily commute to work and back. So if it can survive 50 miles of driving, getting bounced around out here, I'd say it's pretty good. The roof basket's sitting on pretty decent. Although, I wonder if the Placer-M has any brake fluid in it. And I'm not siphoning it out of it, I just mean in the back. The Placer-M is a real giver of a vehicle. You know, Keith gave it to us, and we've been using it for a lot of random stuff around here. Getting attacked by pricker bushes. What do we got? Brake fluid, brake fluid, brake fluid. Give me brake fluid. Well, we got coolant, power steering fluid, power steering stop leak, more coolant, and a lot of water. Yummy. I'm gonna have to soak that hose clamp in some kind of penetrating lube. Well, I guess that does it for me on everything here. Close that back up. I don't know how I got water in it. It's been closed up the entire time, but oh well, I don't ask questions. Alright, so there's the new hose, there's the old hose. They look about the same, I think. Check the length of them. Yep, we're good. Now I just gotta get this one to slide over and this one to slide over, but I think these ones originally were too large. But you know, it was 4 years ago I put that on there. It was a super simple one to get out, which I'm happy about that. I still need to find some brake fluid, but I was able to reclaim all the coolant in this nice bucket. And I have a screened funnel I can dump it back in with, so saving money. Can you believe that hose was $18? I cannot believe it. Well, fortunately, I have more coolant around the house. I'm currently trying to strain this coolant, and as you can see, there is nothing coming out. The entire screen is blocked. If I blow through it, there's a black, sludgy, fibrous thing that's in all of this coolant. So I guess I'm just gonna take this coolant in and get it recycled or do whatever you're supposed to do, use coolant. Take it into an auto parts store on Monday and get rid of it. And I'll dump some fresh, clean stuff in here. All right, good news. Got the coolant hose switched out. I have a connector from Luke's. I'm gonna swap out this blinker real fast. Wasn't thinking about it, so I get it done and it's out of the way. Then I have to rewire the switch for the radio, which these cars normally didn't have a switch, but for some reason there is a short in the wiring harness because someone put an aftermarket radio in before I got it. Then I took it out and then didn't hook everything back in correctly. And my key doesn't work in the passenger door. But yeah, that's the switch I'm talking about. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fix the connections on it and I'm just gonna run it somewhere in here. And then I can just turn it on when I want to listen to the radio. It doesn't work on FM radio anyway, so I use Bluetooth on my phone. Works out good. I feel classy. We have a blinker. It blinks fast, but hey, people know we're turning now. Baby Dildar has been helping. He's got the wiring strippers there and his wiring kit. How are those working for you, bud? Yep, that's what I thought. Good news is the radio is fixed on a switch. Probably just put it right here. It's a good spot for it.
Or she hates you.
Radio power switch successfully remounted here. Bluetooth is on. Flip the switch, and it's off. Flip the switch. It's on. It's off. It's on. It's off. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one.